Hallo, wie geht's? Mein Name is Monica Liana, and this is Books and Beauty, where I talk about books while putting on my makeup. So today, we're going to talk about the infamous, the loved MC Fallen series that I have recently discovered. I know I'm late to the game. So I have heard about these books, but for some reason, I wasn't at all interested in them at first because it's like a motorcycle game. I was like, I don't know if I really like the whole motorcycle game. And also the men on front of the books, other than two of them, so Zeus and Nova, they all look ugly to me. And I was just like, I don't know. I know you're not supposed to judge a book by its cover, but let's just talk about Lessons in Corruptions first, their cover. That man looks ugly as hell. First of all, King is supposed to be 18-year-old. Why does this man look 39 and like he smokes and he has 3 baby mamas? No. And why does he also look like he's wearing like a starship uniform? I didn't know this was a motorcycle game. I didn't know this was a teacher to a student relationship and he was a student by looking at this photo. I'm telling you, they need to fix that photo because it did not appeal, nor does it translate into the book. Like the picture and what happens in the book, not even close. I absolutely hate that cover. I think it's extremely ugly and does not represent King whatsoever. Anyways, so the first book, as we talked about, is King and his soon-to-be Queenie. It starts off with Queenie basically seeing King from afar, being very mesmerized by him, and coming to realize that she is in a loveless marriage and she needs to get out. She decides to divorce her husband, which he doesn't give her a divorce. It's kind of throughout the book. They haven't gotten a divorce yet because the husband keeps trying to push out that hopefully she'll come back to him, which she's like, I don't want you. Just sign the paperwork. And she is a teacher. She's 26, I believe. She's 26 or 28, something like that, I believe. And she's a teacher. And she decides to like go out with some friends because now that she is not in this basically abusive relationship, because he did not physically hurt her, but he did kind of manipulate her and make her kind of like a doll where, you know, she didn't really have friends outside of the house. She was supposed to be this modest, very proper girl that just stood by him while he went to like these parties and she was just there to look pretty. That's basically what was her life. And now that she doesn't have this man, her and her now new friends are like, yeah, we can have some fun. So they go to a bar and she sees the gorgeous golden hair boy yet again. And they end up hitting it off pretty quickly. Like she, in a way, she's lucky that this isn't her dangerous, but like he basically beckons her to come over. They go to the back alley and he's like, hey, ditch your friends and come with me on the bike. And she does, which is, like I said, you're lucky that this turned out good because that could have been a real dangerous situation. And she knows that, but she just kind of is like, this is what I've wanted. Like I wanted to like have fun in life and, you know, not be such a goody good girl and stuff like that. So she allows it. They end up, I think, having like a date or two. They don't have sex, but like, you know, make out, blah blah blah. And about a week into schooling, there's like this boy that was missing, and about a week or something later, he ends up showing up at his class, and she's thinking like, oh, my boyfriend came to see me at work, how cute. And he's just like, nah, I'm Kyle. I think that's like this thing. I think it's like King Kyle Garo. I think that's his name or something like that. But on the school register, she didn't know it's him because I think his name is like Kyle on the registry. And he introduces himself as King, I believe, if I got that right. And she kind of freaks out, notably so, because she's like, I am a teacher and you are my 18-year-old student, which I can understand why she wouldn't have known that because he was like at a bar and everything and he was getting drinks and stuff like that. So it's like, she didn't know he was like even 18. She just assumed he was probably of age. And she's like, okay, well, we can't be together no more because you are now my student and legally, it is not a bad thing, but morally and ethically, extremely bad thing. And he basically says bullshit and woos her the whole time and basically breaks her to the point where he's just like, you will be my woman. I know you want to be my woman. You need to stop worrying about everybody else. Like, I will be graduating this year. We will kind of keep it under wraps and it will be fine. And he is such a sweetheart. Out of all the books so far, because I've only read 3 of them, I'm only going to do a review on the first 3. Out of all the books, this is the most romantic one out of all of them. Like, they really go hard on like just their relationship, and the motorcycle gang activity / backstory is in the background. It doesn't really get any graphic into the motorcycle gang until like much later into the book and stuff like that. So the first one is not my favorite. I did love it, like 100%. I did love it in the sense of it was really good, but I could just tell just from reading the first 3 books, I'm like, King and Queenie are just not my favorite couple. Like, I think that they're cute, but at the same time, I'm not really into the whole, I guess you could say, older woman, younger man, them being extremely adorable type of thing. Like, the other ones get a little bit more toxic, which I'm like, I kind of like a little bit more. He is a sweetheart. Like, he does act bad and everything like that, but he is like a sweetheart at the end of the day. And so they're not my like favorite couple, but I do find them very adorable and whatnot. And then we're gonna go to the second one, which is Daddy Zeus, which is my favorite so far, is Daddy Zeus. And this one is like, I think the biggest age gap is like 19 years apart. So what happens is he saves this girl who ends up becoming his love interest. He meets her at 6. Yes, don't worry, it's not that bad. It turns into legal age later on. But at 6 years old, Lola is going to church with her family, and kind of what happens like in front of them while they're going to church is like somewhat of a shootout. And she ends up running to Zeus for savior, and he ends up taking a bullet for this little girl and basically saves her life because her dad just like dips out, like doesn't fucking save her at all, and she ends up running to this fucking motorcycle dude for fucking safety. And he saves her. And they go to the hospital, obviously, and she apparently is in the middle of having cancer and going through chemo. So she's at the hospital kind of for that, and she finds out where Zeus is at because he's in the hospital because he got shot. And she goes and introduces herself, and she's like, thank you for saving me. Come to find out, he's going to prison for manslaughter. And her dad is kind of one of the people that kind of put him there. Like, he's going to become mayor. He's kind of in the political field. And she basically just declares that she will hate her dad ever again because she's kind of like, he saved me. Why are you making him go to prison? And of course she's 6, so she doesn't really know what prison is. She just knows that it's a bad place. And she's just like, why would you do this to me? Like, he saved my life. Like, he's a good person and stuff like that. And the dad's like, you don't know nothing. Like, he needs to go to jail. So they end up becoming pen pals because she's like constantly at like the hospital, like I said. And one of the nurses that takes care of her knows Zeus. So she ends up like kind of helping them become pen pals. And at first, Zeus doesn't really want to be her pen pal because he's like, you're like 6 years old. Like, this is kind of inappropriate. But it's innocent. Like, you know, he gets letters from his kids, which is King and HR, and also her. And he kind of just allows it because, like I said, she's just a little girl, just kind of looks at him like her savior. And she doesn't really have family because, like, yeah, she has a mom and dad, but like they're so concerned about his political career that like they don't even really like sit with her while she's getting chemo. Like, she's just there. She's basically being raised by like nurses and like her nanny. And she does have a younger sister, but imagine she's 6, so her sister is even younger. So it's like her sister's not around. So they just kind of become pen pals in the sense of like, he kind of feels bad for her and just kind of feels protected. And it's kind of like, you know what? Like, I can be nice to this little girl type of situation. And over the years, you see letters of them basically being friends. And she ends up going into remission. He's very happy for her. He ends up getting released early. She's happy for him. And she's like, oh, are you gonna come see me? And he's like, no, I will not come see you. Like, we can remain pen pals, but it's like, but I will never come see you. He was like, I know you don't understand now, but you will when you get older, that this is kind of as far as it's going to go and stuff like that. And that's fine. They end up, like I said, they became their pen pals. Everything's fine. Well, at her 16th birthday, she ends up kind of being somewhat inappropriate. Like, she doesn't say anything sexual, but she's like basically saying how like she just wants to leave because she doesn't like her house. Like I said, her parents are kind of shitty and kind of make her into this like princess, and like nobody really knows her. She's just kind of like, oh, she's such a good girl, but it's like nobody really knows her. And she ends up basically saying how like she wants to run away with him, and that all he would have to do is like say the word and she would pack a bag and literally run away with him. And then she also says, I love you. And he writes her back and is like, you will never hear from me again. You do not know what love is. You do not love me. And he's all like, I could tell that like you're now growing up and you now do not need me. Like, you're cancer free. You know, like I said, you're getting older. It's like, I think our friendship needs to end and stuff like that. So that happens. They eventually have a chance encounter again when she's like 17. And once that happens, he kind of can't let her go. Like, he knows that it's wrong, and he's kind of like, I should not want this woman, but of course he does. And she does, because she's always loved this man. And it kind of goes from there. Like, I'm not gonna say too much more, but this one definitely gets brutal. Like I said, the first one is very much like the romance and then like the motorcycle drama like in the background. This one is very much a even thing of like, yes, you figure out like their romance and like how they get together and stuff like that. But because he is the president of this motorcycle gang, he does show her. Granted, he's not really supposed to. Like, the gang for the most part don't let their women involved in their work for their protection, because it's like the less they know, the less anybody can try to use them against them, because it's like they don't know anything. But he shows her to a degree, because he's just like, you need to know what the hell you're getting into. Like, you keep saying that you love me and you want to be with me. Like, I don't think you understand. Like, I am not a good person. I am a monster under the bed. I have killed people, and I will kill more people, and I will not fucking care. Like, I will do what I need to do type of thing. And so he kind of shows her. And she at first gets a little freaked out, but like, she comes to the conclusion of like, you're not a bad person. Like, I know you think that you're a bad person, but it's like, you're not really that bad of a person. Like, I can deal with this. Whatever you need to do, I'm with you. So he does kind of show her. And then, like I said, drama. There's more drama stuff. But this one gets brutal. Like, real fucking brutal. And I'm not going to spoil what happens. But I will say, so far, this book broke my heart. Because something happens that I swear, I want to ask the author what I ever did to her for her to break my heart like that, because I feel like she like victimized me, because I cannot believe that she did that to me. Like, I am not an emotional person, but this book slightly made me emotional for what happened. I don't appreciate it, but anyways. So on to the third one. This one, actually, out of all the three of them, this is the most action one. Like I said, first one, very romantic motorcycle game in the background. Second one, I would say very much 50-50. This one is action with like romance in the background, basically. Because what happens is, This one is about HR and Officer Danner, which I just love that name, Danner. Like, his name is actually Lionel. They call him Lion for short, but like, I like to call him Danner because it sounds hilarious. But so, and also, just so you know, every book, you know who the couple's gonna be. Like, it is not a mystery who the couple is. So I'm not spoiling anything by saying like who the couple is. But anyway, so Danner is an officer and that has infiltrated this rival motorcycle gang, because they're doing some probably very dangerous shit, and they want to, of course, infiltrate them and get enough information to lock them down. HR gets involved because she was actually involved with one of the guys. And this is, like I said, this is not a spoiler. This literally happens at the very beginning. She kills her boyfriend at the very beginning because he tries to rape her and she ends up killing him. Well, instead of calling her parents and stuff like that, like, well, not parents, well, technically her parents, instead of calling her Zeus or any of the family members, she ends up calling Danner and kind of does the right thing by like admitting to her crime, because it's not really a crime because it is self-defense. She doesn't get in trouble or anything like that. But because of this, she ends up, she knows the gang, she knows the people, she is already kind of in their biker gang in a way, and she ends up finding out that somebody is threatening her family. So she has decided that she wants to become a CI for the police department to bring them down for her family's safety. Family doesn't know anything about it. Of course, if they did, they probably would tell her no. They would demand that that's not allowed. So her and Danner basically join forces to bring down this gang. And that's kind of the whole point of this book, is them basically infiltrating this gang group. And this gang group is like worse than her family, because her family, yes, they are a motorcycle gang, yes, they do some stuff, but they have like principles to a degree. Like, you know, they don't treat women like total shit, versus this group don't give a fuck about women. Like, they're passing women around, they're drugging them up, they're fucking making them like do like porn videos, even though they're like young, and like a lot of drugs and guns and stuff like that. So like, they're, I guess you could say, they're worse. Like, they don't have no principles. People are just, they're literally just killing people if they feel the need, type of thing. So she, like I said, so she becomes CI and he's an undercover cop. He's been like doing this for like 3 years and everything like that. And they start to reconnect because they've known each other for like years. But he never wanted to be with HR for the mere fact that she was too young when she kind of tried to be with him, and he's just like, no, that's not gonna happen, this is wrong. And he goes into the police force, and then of course she's like a biker chick. So like, they're kind of like Romeo and Juliet in a way of like, they shouldn't want to be together even though they do. And this one, surprise surprise, actually has some BDSM in it, which I did not know, and I was highly happy about it because I love me some BDSM. And it's kind of funny because what it is like, so Danner, like I said, he's a good guy. Granted, he's in the motorcycle group, but like, he's a good guy. He does believe in like, you know, helping people and stuff like that. So he's always been the good guy. And then HR is like the bad biker chick that has like a rap sheet. She's always fucking getting into fights and shit like that. But then like in the bedroom, he's the dom and she's the submissive. And it's like such a, how do you say, a very pair that like deserve each other, in a sense of like, they can flip flop and like be what each other's needs outside of the bedroom and inside of the bedroom and stuff like that. So like, yeah, there's a lot of BDSM in this one. Like, it doesn't get extreme, but like, there's enough that I was like, okay, I appreciate it. And like, I actually liked Danner once I found this out, because I'm like, I wasn't really feeling Danner. I was like, I don't know about him being like a love interest or anything like that. But like, once I found that out and I saw his little dark side, I was like, ooh, okay, I appreciate him. And like I said, this one is way more action packed, like way more action packed. And then it ends off like on a cliffhanger. So then the fourth one, which I have not started yet, is going back to King, and I'm assuming because of what happened at the end of the third book, we're gonna show right back in and figure out like what happens with that storyline. So yeah, I am like loving it, which is so weird because I really did not think I was going to. I kept seeing this book all over the place, and I was just like, I just don't think I'm going to like this. And now I have just become a basic little fandom with this book. I'm like, I see exactly why everybody raves about this book. Like, I don't know why it took me so long. I don't know why I was fighting it so long, but I now understand, and I'm like starting to slightly fantasize about this, even though I don't like bikes, mainly for like a sound thing. The sound of bikes just drive me nuts, but I'm like, I feel like I would try if I can get me some Daddy Zeus. I'm like, shit, I would become a biker chick. Like, sure, why not? It's like, this is 100% one of those toxic, like, bad boy type of shit, and it's just like, ugh, it's so annoying how actually good it is. Like, it actually really is, because it's like, I should not want this, but now this is all I want, and it's like, I'm not gonna get this in real life, and it's kind of annoying because it's like, I'm now craving something that's not actually gonna fucking happen for me. But yeah, so I highly recommend this series. Like I said, there is three more books that I need to read. The fourth one I know is supposed to be King and Queenie's another book. I am excited for the fifth book, which is Nova's, because Nova just sounds like a guy that I would like. Tall, dark, handsome, tatted up, is slightly somewhat charming to the point of like where you kind of want to hit him in the face, but at the same time you want to suck his face. That's what he sounds like to me, and I'm very excited. And then come to find out that the sixth book is about Priest, which Priest is a psychopath. He's the enforcer, he's the torturer, and I am like, the torturer is gonna have a love person. I am so fascinated. So yes, I'm very excited for the next three books, and then like I think this series is just gonna keep on going until, I'm assuming, the author just decides to not keep writing it. So I'm like, I'm here for it, and I'm kind of glad that I waited until the sixth book, because I think the sixth book just recently kind of came out. So I'm like, I'm glad that I waited until the sixth book was out, because I'm like, I have plenty more reading to do. But anyways, that's the end of my rant. Like I said, I know I'm late to the game. Probably everybody already knows about these books and has already read it, but if you haven't, I highly recommend it. And this is coming from a girl that didn't think that she was gonna like this. It's good. Recommend it. But anyways, have a good day. I will talk to you later. Bye.